Yeah. Let me drop exclusive game from my exclusive mind. You be out here chasing fame, I stay steady on my grind. Zero diamonds, zero.
Thank you for tapping into the Exclusive Minds podcast. Today we're going to be having an exclusive conversation with exclusive content from Exclusive Minds. I'm your host, Rook, and
Joe.
let's get right into it.
We are back for episode 32, and this is coming on the eve of 4th of July, so God bless America and all that other good stuff.
God bless America.
God bless America. Yes.
Where did the fireworks come from?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Just started
Isn't that like
shooting,
the cannonballs and stuff, and it's just kind of an extension of that? I don't know.
maybe like gunpowder?
Celebration.
Colorful gunpowder?
I don't know. It's a good, maybe we'll have to look up the history of fireworks.
No, yeah, I mean,
Should
who
check.
knows?
No, he probably knows that stuff. So anyway, episode 32. So we are again back, and now we're back in the swing. So I think I spent the last week and a half completely complaining to everybody who would listen about my Walt Disney World thing. So I'm kind of over that at this point. But
Yeah, no, that was good because we got to burn like an hour talking about that shit.
Well,
So
on the pod, even yesterday with the family get together, it came up again, and I was just like, I had a great time, but it sucked.
I think Disney World. Yeah,
it was funny.
If like before we get into the guest, and he could give his 2 cents about it. It's definitely one of those things where you said it's good if you haven't went maybe a couple times, like maybe twice, but after a certain point, you're like, all right, how long am I going to see the same thing over and over again? But we're over that, right?
Yeah, it's done. I mean, if it was a cheaper thing and it was closer, who knows? Maybe I'd do it. But anyway, I'm done with it. So,
so I guess without further ado, do we have anything else to say before we start? I'm trying to think. I guess the clothing stuff is going to be resumed now. We have to get back on the ball with that. We kind of dropped, we kind of fell off the ball. So we're getting back on that.
The clothes have taken a hit over the last month because we've been just sort of mentally checked out. But yeah, we got to get back on that because
we're going to do that. We're going to get back on it. We have to be held accountable. But no, without further ado, we have a guest on today, my friend of 5 years, since 2017, and it's actually quite an interesting friendship, and I'll let him talk a little bit about how we met, but it's Melvin, or Melvin George, whatever, he goes by multiple different things.
Bunch of aliases.
Aliases. Yeah. This guy, Mel, had, what was it? It was like Sniffy at one point, and then, what was your other ones?
Sniffy at one point. Melview, which it's still that.
Yeah,
today.
I think that's like the GOAT name right there. So Mel, tell a little bit about yourself, and then I guess talk about how we known each other, because this is quite interesting. Definitely unique. I never experienced. I guess not unique in today's world, right? I mean,
what, meeting over gaming?
Yeah, meeting over gaming.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it happens all the time. Well, I think it happens a lot, but what happens is you've actually like interacted in the real world, right?
Yeah,
so
we have.
That's the thing that I don't think occurs a lot, right? I played Warcraft for 20 years. We talked about this, and I played with people for years and knew their names, knew what they did for a living, knew they were getting married, knew they had kids. I knew everything about them, but I never ever met any of them.
It's like your clique. It's like your guys.
Yeah,
like,
but but you never meet them, and I think that's the thing that that doesn't happen a lot even today.
Yeah,
it's a little easier now when you got FaceTime and stuff like that to kind of make that face-to-face connection. But back even 5 years ago or wherever when you first met, right? Meeting someone is the leap.
It's always kind of been like weird.
I don't think happens.
It's like, I don't want this guy to be a catfish serial killer who's gonna kill me, But Mel, talk about the first time, bro. Like back in 2017, like what all happened? Give us the series of events, man.
Yeah. Well, first off, I want to thank y'all for having me. Second, I'm Melvin, so what's good?
Melvin's the Southern guy,
I'm from
man. I
West
fucking love
Virginia.
this guy's accent. Go ahead.
I am from West Virginia, so I do have an accent. It's pretty thick, but not thick as most. But back in 2017, I was playing with one of my buddies that I went to school with, and ran into a duos with David, and I think it was Mario at the time. I don't know if it might have been Mario or Jake or
somebody.
Yeah, it was somebody, but we played y'all. And then I don't know. We probably lost because we went on a big L streak for a while. And then we wanted to play in a tournament. So
I remember. I
hit up Dave. I hit him up on PS4, and I asked him if he wanted to play. And he said, yeah, CMG or UMG or what? I said, it's UMG. And he said, link it. So, see my invite. We played. And then after that, it's just been kind of our thing, bro. Like, I even dropped my old duo for this guy.
Yeah. Yo, that guy always used to talk shit, bro. He thought he was a better sniper than me, bro. Still to this day, that shit eats me alive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Gotta show him. But, nah, so that all happened. And then, like you said, like we talk like every single day, like how you would probably with your Warcraft guys, get on Discord or whatever. And over time, we just got closer. Like literally, you talk to the people online more than you talk to some of your real life homies. Like you'll stay, you'll stay inside and just like, all right, I want to get on the game. Who's online? All right, Mel's online. I'm gonna hit him up, whatever. Yeah. And it didn't happen until 3 years ago, I think. 2019 was it? I don't remember the exact year
that we met.
Yeah, so he had he was going down to Texas for your mom's house or your mom's house. Yeah. And he's like, bro, I'm about to just come up to Philly, book a flight out of Philly, and then just, go to Texas. I was like, all right, bro, like come up, you have a place to stay, whatever. And then he came up, and then that was a kind of a wild series of events too. And if you remember, like with like, because we were in Chester, and Mel coming from West, like a small town in West.
Why were you in Chester?
For Taylor's college, because I was staying down there a lot.
Okay, yeah.
And like him coming from like a small town in West Virginia to like going to like Chester, and then like it's kind of like a big change. And then he saw like we went to like a party that night. We saw a girl get into like a cat fight with another girl about like something. A bag of wine was thrown that night. I don't know what was going on. And then
bro.
What happened?
We was walking into a house party, bro, and this chick opened the door and said, "Oh hell no, this bitch ain't coming in my house." And I was like, "She just playing. Let's just go."
Yeah,
and then it started going into a brawl.
Bro, you were having an anxiety attack going into the house. You were nervous. I was nervous too. I'm not gonna lie. I hate going into house parties.
No, bro. Like I'm not a party top, bro. Like I'll drink on the side, but I ain't drinking in a party like atmosphere.
No, I get that. But yeah, bro, that was awesome. And then more specifically, recently you're getting married, so congratulations on that. And
yeah, for sure.
That's crazy.
Preach.
And I'm in the wedding, bro.
Thank you.
What's up?
Yeah, David is a groomsman.
That's actually insane.
Very happy that you actually wanted to. Like I gave you the option if you wanted to,
bro, for sure.
You didn't want to.
Already locked in.
I wanted you there anyway.
Yeah, for sure. We're locked in. So now we have like 9 guys from up here coming down there anyway, just because like the people that are in Discord all the time and everything.
9 guys and you're Taylor.
My Taylor, and then Cece, is she coming or no?
Cece's coming too.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. So I guess that's kind of the rundown. You kind of know the whole story, but I guess this is going to be more probably this podcast is going to be more focused around like I guess gaming and that type of thing. All right. Did you watch the UFC? I know you said you did. Did you watch the UFC thing? Are you into that at all, or?
I didn't watch like the main event. I saw highlights and stuff, but I did see Sean O'Malley got. Well, it like counted as no contest or whatever.
That was the stupidest thing I've seen in my entire life. How'd you feel about that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was a mess.
Yeah. I mean, so here's the thing. I'll be the first one to admit it. I don't know too much about MMA or the UFC at all. I just got into it early last year, like literally super entry level stuff that I know. But the first fight that I've seen, it was an Izzy fight, coincidentally, when he was like fighting. And then I just started watching like so many of his highlights. So like he's like my favorite guy. He's into like anime and Naruto and all that different type of stuff. So I was like, all right, this is my guy. I'm gonna lock him in, whatever. And then he ended up coincidentally just being like one of the top guys in MMA, super like entertaining to watch and everything like that. So getting to see him fight yesterday was really cool because I think I've only seen like my timing might be off, but I've seen maybe 2 of his fights like actually while it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really cool to see him fight, but he called out, I guess yesterday, one of his sparring, or I guess one of his kickboxing opponents from back in the day who have previously beat him twice. So it's really interesting to see how that next card's going to come because as of right now, or as of yesterday, sorry, the guy that he called out was unranked in the UFC and he fought the number 4 guy and I forgot his name. I apologize. But he knocked out the number 4 guy in like the first round. Like apparently like he's super like he's like basically like exactly like Izzy, same build and everything. 6'4",
real lanky dude.
Yeah, real lanky dude. So it's literally a copy and paste of Izzy. So it's going to be a brawl. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, that's the only guy he's lost to.
Yeah,
pretty sure that's the only guy he's lost.
He
to,
got knocked out twice, or knocked out
I don't
once.
think it's twice. I thought he only lost to him once, but yeah, you
no,
might be right.
Twice.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
in kickboxing. And I don't know who he lost to in the UFC. I don't know that either. But yeah, it's supposed to be a real brawl. And then yesterday was another good fight with this grizzly-looking guy with a beard. I sorry if I don't. Hold on, let me see if I can pull up his name real quick.
Yeah, that's the big problem is like just remembering a lot of the names. Once you get past sort of the top like 5 guys, like you're like, yeah, that dude, that guy, yeah, that dude.
Barberna, or I think his name is, and he fought Lawler. And apparently he went to.
Isn't that who they call the Viking?
Yeah. So he went to Lawler's like first fights like 10 years ago or something like that. And his wife was like, I think you could fight in the MMA, like you train and everything. So it was like him fighting his like idol. Yeah, and it was
Lawler's been around forever.
Dude,
he's got to be like 40 years old.
They were in a brawl. Like it's one thing to beat somebody, but like to go in there and have like a dog fight, like round after round after round, like super sick to see that. And then last thing, sorry to kind of drag on the UFC thing. This guy, this was the third of the Holloway and Volkanovski rival.
Yeah, the trilogy. Yep.
Volkanovski beat the shit out of Max Holloway. It wasn't even close, bro. He dogged him, bro. He's super fast. He cut Holloway.
Well, you know what it is? It's like
super early on.
If you score early, and you just you tag a dude, regardless if you're equal skills, right? That just puts the one dude off, and it was just downhill from there. It was like, wow,
dude, exactly. So Holloway first round, he had a cut going down his eye, bro. It was like an inch, maybe 2 inches. Deep cut. Mm-hmm. He was putting his cut man was putting his
Vaseline
whole
shit,
everything in his eye, and it was just wild. So him getting cut that first round, or I think maybe it was the first second.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
That was it.
Yeah.
So that was it for that. But
so non-UFC fighting. I was talking to Mikey about the fight, right? Logan and Fury, right? So that's now on for August 6th.
Yeah, you have you heard about that? Into like the boxing?
Logan Paul,
Jake Paul,
or is it Logan?
Jake?
Or
Yeah,
Jake
I always
Paul?
get him. I always mess him up. It's Jake, right? So
yeah, it's kind of interesting to see how that plays out.
Because Logan's
Fury?
WWE now, right? He's or
Tommy.
WWF or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, he's signed to
Wrestling.
WWE. But it's kind of cool to see these guys come from. I know we talk about it, but kind of come from our neck of the woods on the YouTube side of things, and like kind of see them transition into like that mainstream type of like, I guess, content.
Yeah,
in
it's
a
wild
way.
because So I the thing I talked to Mikey about is I said if that fight actually comes off, and it's still in question right now because the Fury can't get into the country because he's
still having trouble.
Something with it. I think it's an association with that gang guy,
the mafia promoter.
Yeah. So he says he can't get in the U.S. right now. So I'm like, oh man, there's always some freaking excuse. But if that fight comes off, I think we should live stream that one. I said that because we've been talking about that, and that fight is going to be between two dudes that just can't afford to lose.
No,
right?
literally.
I mean, if either one of them loses, it's pretty much over, right? So
I think Tommy.
this is the first time it's going to be a true legit fight.
I think Tommy's low key scared, and I was kind of scared to say that up until this point. But he's really, I think he has more to lose than Jake. Obviously, Jake, has been talking a lot of shit, and his whole thing's built on not losing to anyone yet. But Tommy, like, he's kind of.
Yeah, I mean,
he's been dancing around it for a while.
You're right. I mean, the whole Fury family has put total pressure on him that if he loses, like, you're out of the family kind of shit. Like,
exactly.
Come on, really? So, I mean, his old man's been ragging on him and stuff like that. So, yeah, he's got a lot on it too. And I guess it all depends on sort of how they lose, right? If it's a complete ass whooping, then whoever gets the ass whooping's pretty much toast.
No, for sure.
But if it's actually a decent fight and they really just slug it out and someone just gets a lucky shot in, who knows? Maybe they'll obviously have a rematch and keep pounding on it. But I know we've been talking about that on the podcast forever, right? And then it blew up and never happened. So if this one comes up, I think we should live stream that one.
Absolutely. So Mel. Yesterday we got a bit of Call of Duty leaks. I don't know if you've been paying attention. That's obviously where we linked up. I know you had your opinions and you told me off air about it, but I guess what's your current state in like the whole like I guess gaming industry like at its current time? Because personally, I feel like we're in a bit of a hiatus. So I'll kind of pass it to you to kind of talk about like where you feel and how you're kind of feeling about that whole thing right now that's going on.
What you mean, just like with COD in general, or just
COD or gaming in general? I mean, because I feel like for one, Call of Duty's at like the lowest it's ever been, but I feel like gaming, like it's kind of like
dead.
Like yeah, I feel like something that we both really cherish.
So I mean, is
greatly.
it dead or is it just so fragmented now with people kind of going to their niche game, right? I mean, but there's so many options now for multiplayer.
I'll let you take that one, Mel.
I truly COD Vanguard, the one that's currently out right now, is absolute garbage. There's not many people that play it at all.
Yeah.
A lot of people are switching from COD to go play Apex or Warzone, which I think Warzone's terrible too.
I think Warzone's even kind of taking a hit.
Yeah. Caldera really did a number on Warzone. I've recently been playing Valiant. Valiant's super fun. It's like Counter-Strike Go. But, yeah, I feel like there hasn't been a lot of games that's been released the past year or so.
I mean,
like other than the mainstream COD, you know?
Yeah, I know you've been talking, and even when I walked in here, this guy's playing Elden Ring, like a bunch. But, like,
oh, yeah.
As far as from a first-person shooter point of view, like
I forgot to call Mario out on that because he's like, I finished it in 5 hours. I'm like, you fucking did not finish that game.
What did he say? Did he
just
say 5 hours?
I'm like, sure, I guess if you went online and you learned all the cheeses for the main bosses and just ripped through it, you probably could do it. But
he said he finished in the same time as you.
He said he did it in 5 hours, and I'm like, get the fuck out.
Oh shit!
Like seriously, like no freaking way.
Yeah, I don't know. Mario's
I know there's all kinds of speed runs and shit where some dudes like finished it in 19 minutes, but I'm like, come on.
Yeah,
like if you actually bought that game and want to like get your money's worth out of it, this shit just goes on forever. Like today, I'm like, holy shit! I've been playing this game for like months, and all of a sudden, I just unlocked this entire new area that I hadn't seen. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, this game just keeps going on and on and on.
I mean, that game definitely isn't short of content.
No fucking way, man.
But so I guess I guess kind of to wrap that Call of Duty conversation up would be the new one. This next one is the sequel to the 2019 game that came out, and that game, love it or like, I feel like there's a lot of controversial opinions about that game. That game is like arguably one of the better ones that came out in maybe the past five years, I would say.
For sure.
So I feel like this one is kind of like the one, like they have to do everything right on it, and they're kind of held to that standard because of how big their company is.
And I think they know it, right? Because they pulled back on production another year or two just to make sure they don't screw it up.
Yeah, exactly. So they're now moving from a annual cycle to a semi-annual cycle, and we've never seen that before. So I'm excited to see that.
I haven't played. I mean, I don't play the first-person shooters and stuff like that. But so, are there like microtransactions and all kinds of bullshit in it, like everything else? I mean, how the hell do they make money on it?
Yeah.
It's like season pass, skins, all that different type of stuff. I mean, it's not like there was a point in time where those games specifically had pay to win skins. Like, remember AW, you would have like the Speakeasy or like the Obsidian Steed. Yeah. And there's those games, they're like...
So are they cosmetic or did they actually have functionality?
No, they were functionable because like if you bought this... If you bought like, let's say like $100 worth of packs and you unlocked the...
so you could...
so if you have like a Speakeasy, right, the ASM1, you could literally just start like...
blasting away.
Dude, you were literally on top of it even if you were not the best player. So it kind of... The skill gap was very... very narrowed down because you could have someone who's low level, low IQ, everything, but they had a good job or whatever, and they bought their way in, and then you would have someone who's maybe played the game a lot but didn't spend money on it. They're now very even versus, like, I guess if you go to somewhere like he said, Valorant, the entry to fucking go into Valorant, bro, is so goddamn difficult. I cannot play that fucking piece of shit game to save my goddamn life.
Tell us how you really feel. Tell us how you really feel.
Bro, so I get on Valorant, and that game is very keyboard and mouse oriented. You also have to have like a lot of hours kind of logged in to know where players are going to be moving, how they're moving there, where to aim. The fucking smallest pixel of their head might be popping up just like a little bit above like a head glitch or something. You have to be able to know where these spots are at. So when you're like a Call of Duty guy like myself who's coming in, or a first person shooter guy coming in from like console to now going to PC, and you have to know all these theatrics of all this shit that's going on, you're like, all right, I have no idea what the hell's going on, so I'm not even going to compete because these guys are in gold and all this stuff. I can't even do it.
Yeah, it's tough to find a level playing field, man. It's just, crazy.
Well, yeah, I feel like that's part of the game, though. I mean, if everyone was on the same playing field, I feel like there would be more complaints then.
Yeah, well, if it's any consolation, I'd be the dumbass guy who bought my way all the shit, and I'd still get killed by dudes with a freaking knife. Like, some dude with a knife would just come up behind me and stab me as I'm shooting and missing them left and right and stuff like that. I'm like, this is bullshit.
I mean, we talked about it. I mean, even off air, I think we should do a trios team and get Joe to hop on with us on the next COD or something like that, and just see what happens. I feel like that would be a lot of fun.
I could probably be a sniper really good. I mean, the aiming part is not the problem. It's just all the motion and stuff like that. And I guess the last time I played a multiplayer, first person shooter was Titanfall. I used to just get my ass handed to me.
Bro, Titanfall was interesting because that's the same developer as Apex, literally, and they had that smart pistol where like it would shoot you would just have to get the center. Like, bro, the centering was so fucked. You would just look at someone, and then the bullets would track them as they're jumping around. It's actually wild. Yeah. What was I gonna say? I literally just had something on the top of my head. Damn it.
Now, if we were a really good podcast, this is where we would edit this out, but we're not. So this dead noise is killing us, dude.
No, fuck the dead noise, man. Mel, what do you have? I know you've talked about it off air about some of your because you're into the gaming stuff, and your brother is as well. And I feel like me and Joe have talked about it too. I guess this is a kind of multi-part question, so I'll start with this. Do you see yourself kind of walking away from the gaming stuff at any point? I know some people are like, oh, you're X year old and you're still playing games. Does that kind of ring any bells, or does that make you feel any type of way? Or do you think we live in an age where that's kind of a thing of the past? So I guess that's part one of the question.
I do think it's a kind of a thing of the past. I know a guy that I went to school with, his dad still plays Call of Duty. He doesn't play competitively, but he still plays it.
We talked about this
on the daily. And I don't see myself slowing down any. I mean, I'll take breaks here and there. Me and Taylor will go do our thing for a weekend or something but usually every day after work, I'm always playing. I'm 25 years old. I just turned 25. So I don't see myself slowing down, but it's just a hobby, bro. It's just, I like to play basketball, and that's a hobby, but I'll drop that and now picked up this, and it's just what I do.
I mean, it's better than I feel like doing drugs or something like that, right? Instead of going to the bar or something and doing that shit, you could just have more fun playing with your homies. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well,
pause.
I mean, the nice thing about it too is you can step away and come back, right? And it's not nothing's really changed. So
no, that's true. And then the second thing is, I know you had some aspirations about turning the gaming stuff more into a business. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? With I remember you said you want to kind of maybe host even tournaments. What are some of the things that even go into doing that? What's your kind of dreams and aspirations? I guess part one, in gaming, and then I guess out of gaming. What do you see yourself doing? I guess in the future, if you don't mind answering that question.
Well, I talked to you a couple weeks ago about wanting to host a tournament, but I mean, it's just a lot of money. I'm from a small town, maybe 2,000 people here. I don't really know. It's very small. There is probably more, but I don't know the specifics. But we don't really have a venue or anything. We have a community college down the road, and they usually host a couple tournaments, maybe once a year, maybe twice a year. I don't know. And I just wanted to have enough equipment to maybe host it somewhere, rent somewhere out, and have a LAN tournament for people that do play competitive Call of Duty or competitive anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I wanted to do. But outside of gaming, I mean, I'm a full-time worker at UPS, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that definitely shows the entrepreneurship of like how you're kind of operating, right? Because to host even a tournament or host those type of things, you kind of have to go into the mindset of, all right, well, we have to think of how people are getting here for one, transportation, the equipment and everything like that, and how could you kind of turn that into like a small business where maybe instead of the annual thing, you're doing it 3 times, 4 times, like quarterly or something like that, and you could turn that into turn your passion into a full-time career. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the funding part, I would have to obviously start it out, but like for entry fee, like they would have the entry fee in for their team, their team, whatever. And then they bring their own equipment. Like they can bring their own equipment if they want it.
Yeah.
But
like you'll have like some like default stuff there, like a controller or something like that. I guess that kind of could parlay into the conversation we had of turning your hobbies into full-time jobs, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So
that's the ultimate goal for most people, right? I mean, if you can do something that you love doing, it makes life a lot easier for sure, right? You don't have all this bitching and griping like we heard, the other day from people who are like, I hate my job and stuff like that, right? You won't get any of that, right? You'll love it. You're like, I'm waking up and I'm setting up a tournament. It's gonna be awesome, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, and that's actually funny you say that. I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like if you could.
So what? So you're a week in or 2 weeks into your job, and you're already like, God, this sucks. I don't like my job.
No.
Is that where we're going with this?
No, that wasn't me. I'll show you where I was going with this. So, I could see someone being happy doing the whole 9 to 5 thing, even if you don't necessarily find that happy, as long as you kind of have that outing. Like Mel said, if you're coming home and you're getting on the game, and that's your kind of your sense of happiness, and I mean, obviously hanging out with your wife, your soon-to-be wife, right, you know what I'm saying? You could always have that good positive balance. But then taking that a step further, like we just said, if you're able to do that thing that you're doing after work for the main source of income, that takes that threshold so much higher. Right. And then you could be able to spend more time with your family or, whoever, and also at the same time be like, all right, listen, like, it's time to clock in. Like I gotta because I'm not doing that anymore. And
I mean, that's not an easy transition though if you think about it. On the surface, it sounds cool. Like I'm going to run games and tournaments and stuff like that. And the reality is, right, you're thinking in your head, like, I'm going to run tournaments, I'm going to participate in tournaments, I'm going to have a blast, and I'm going to hang out with my buddies and stuff like that. And the reality is, behind the scenes, right, you're booking venues, you're managing equipment expenses, you're managing dollars, you're managing people and volunteers, and you don't actually even play the game, right? So all of a sudden, it becomes work. You're like, holy shit, how did this hobby and what I thought was going to be good turn into a full-time job? Yeah. So it's a balance act. I mean, still, I think a lot of people would find incredible enjoyment.
No, yeah, and like you said, like you're like at one point, hopefully you still find that fun, not being able to play, but just to host, and that's like that's kind of your thing.
Because I wish we could get Noah on. I know he's such a freaking shy bastard, but because I ask him all the time because he plays a lot of Roblox, and I'm like, how the hell do people make money on that? And I know there's people making shit tons of money on like all these things, and I'm like, how that I said to him, like, figure out how to do that. Don't play. Figure out how you make money with these cosmetic hats and bullshit.
So like now that like kind of exactly what we were just saying, like there's so many things, like so Fiverr, for example, Fiverr, right? Like the app.
No.
So like there's this thing called Fiverr. It's a website. You could go on there, and then let's say you wanted to hire a Call of Duty coach or a Fortnite coach or a Roblox coach. You could hire basically someone to join a call with you for an hour. You give them like $30 or something, and at the surface, like it's a $30 an hour job, right? If you could book up 8 clients for the day, you have a full work day, but basically you can get a coach.
Qualifications for that? I mean,
that's the thing, right? So you would have to obviously put your resume in the description, like I've won this.
Yeah.
So that could be one outing for it. And on top of that, even if you necessarily don't like running tournaments, that's your stepping stone. So we're just using this as an example, running the tournaments. That gives you that platform to then be able to transition. Oh, this guy is well known. He's been doing it for X amount of years, and he's now starting an organization or a team, Exclusive Minds gaming team, because of the tournament. So he's a credible source in the space, and now he's kind of transitioning it. And now from that one thing that you used to do of running tournaments, now you're running a team where you're buying your team's entry fees into tournaments in a sense. So you could use that to leverage your business in any different type of way.
I always wondered that. I always wondered what if there's really a significant skill level difference between a guy who you're seeing on TV now, right, on whatever television, doing some of these online tournaments and stuff versus, someone like you who plays quite a bit and has some skills, right? What is there really a significant delta, or is it just the fact that that's a person who's got sponsors and can kind of commit to playing 8 hours a day and, just practices, or, are those guys really that much better than
the average player? Do you want to take that one, or do you want me to take it?
There are stupid amounts of talent in any game.
Think about Scump versus anyone in our Discord, right?
Right, bro. We'd get smoked any day of the week.
But at the same time,
he's 26.
Yeah, he's 26.
He's 27 years old.
Or 27, right? But at the same time, he that's what he gets paid to do, right? He's paid to so imagine, I guess, you and him, right? So let's use you for an example. You are also paid to play. That's your full-time job, and you're playing for 8-10 hours a day, right? Do you think that skill gap will be significantly closed, or do you think he just has a greater natural talent at the game? You know what I'm saying? Or do you think it's a marketability aspect of it as well? Because that's probably another thing that goes into it. How good is this person at being marketable?
That's a chicken and the egg, though, right? You have to win to have the marketing bank, right? So,
what would you say if you were to play 8 to 10 hours a day?
The skill gap would definitely be somewhat closed, but Scump's been doing it for over a decade.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? He's got the perfect game sense. He knows every movement of the game. He knows how to work the game. Just his job. It's been his job for over 10 years.
Yeah.
So he's.
You guys probably know better. Do these guys at this level, at that level, can they transition between games, or are they okay? So they can. All right.
Well, because you got to think. I guess the greatest thing that we talked about was AW. That was a monkey wrench, I guess they call it in the timeline. We traditionally, it was just boots on the ground, and then you have AW, which introduces jetpacks, and then you have BO3 introduces wall
it goes
running
four-dimensional and stuff like that.
Yeah, so now you're up, down, left, right, all these different things, whereas before you just run up the stairs, you're on a 2-story building instead of a 1-story building. Now you're flying all around.
Yeah, spatial.
Well, there's another thing. Well, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
But another thing about Scump and Call of Duty players, they've been playing Valiant, and you're going from a controller on Call of Duty that they practice every day on to Valiant, which is on PC, computer, keyboard, mouse, and they're the highest rank in that game.
So yeah, they transitioned well,
Right, yeah.
And I think
the highest.
Go ahead.
The highest rank is Radiant, and they're all in Immortal or right underneath the best.
Yeah. And on top of that, what gaming? All right, I guess this is both of you guys can answer this question. What game do you think would be the hardest to compete in? I know League of Legends is a huge game, and there's a huge market for that. Do you think that's the hardest game to compete in, or as a viewer, what do you think is the hardest game to pick up? Because we've said, this guy Scump's been playing the game for 10 plus years, right? So there's a lot of experience, a lot of skill gap, a lot of everything. But if me and Mel or anyone were to get into the lobby, I think we could be able to kill him once or twice, maybe 3 times, you know what I'm saying, for sure. But there's probably games where these guys been playing for 10 plus years and you're not getting close. If I were to get into a lobby with a pro on Valorant, I probably wouldn't get 1 kill. You know what I'm saying? So I wonder what the hardest game is?
Well, I mean, I think you just answered the question, right? The hardest game is one where you step into the game versus people who have had experience with the game, right? Longer than you. So anytime that happens, I think you've obviously got an issue. If it's, day one versus day one and neither of you have any experience, that's why I kind of asked the question, right? I mean, there's going to be some skill delta, but at the end of the day, you'll probably get your licks in.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Call of Duty has the lowest threshold for gaming. I mean, one of the lowest, because like I said, like you could probably get on there and be a new player, maybe not off the start, but relatively quick after playing for a day or so and be able to get one kill, right? Whereas, like, I know for a fact if I were to play Valorant every single day for a week and I were to get on and try to kill who's Tens or someone like that, who's been pro in CS:GO the prior game to Valorant, I wouldn't be able to get a kill. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I would think Call of Duty has the lowest entry to.
You would think as a game designer, you'd actually want to have a system that, had it. I don't want to say it cheats the system so that it evens the playing field, but you don't want to have a small subset that just ultimately crush everything, right? Because that'll end up alienating the masses, and then the next thing you know, that game's dead. Right?
So now I'm about to drop a bomb on you. There's this thing called skill-based matchmaking in Call of Duty. You're shaking your head.
But how do they do that? Is that just wins? I mean, wins and losses?
Explain skill-based to the people who don't know what that is. Because you just explained it to a T, literally.
Yeah, because it can't be skill. It's not really skill, right? It's just wins and losses, right? I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean.
So, go ahead. You want to take it away?
Skill-based matchmaking is the biggest joke ever. It's literally, like you said, it's based on wins and losses.
Kills and deaths.
You could get carried in a ranked game for 5 placement games and be placed in a mid-tier placement, and then be going up against people that queued solo and had the same amount of wins and losses. Yeah, but they have better skill than you, but their wins top yours, so they have less gun skill, but they have better win percentage.
Because on paper, like let's say for example, we're in a 3-stack. Me, you, and Mel. Okay.
Yep.
You're obviously going to be on the lower end, where me and him will be higher. Okay.
Yep.
We play our 5 placement matches. We get placed into platinum. Now you have Noah, who's solo. Now he's by himself, but he's playing with 2 other random guys. He earned that spot to be in platinum. Me and Mel are no longer playing with you in platinum because we're just so now you're kind of swimming with the shit in the first place, but you're playing against Noah, who's grinded there, right? So there's cheats to get around skill-based matchmaking in that way that I just said. But for the most part, they're putting you up against guys to, like, if you're a new player, you're going to be your KD's going to be taken into place, your wins and losses are going to be taken into place, so it's going to be very specific to how you're playing. So let's say you're an absolute demon, right? You're dropping your first couple days playing the game, dropping 50, 60, 70 bombs all the time. Mm-hmm. After a certain threshold, they're dropping that band hammer on you, and you're going into lobbies against other demons yourself, and you're going to in just casual gameplay, and you're just going to be the experience kind of gets tarnished until there's a rank system. And what Call of Duty fucked up is they didn't put a rank system in the game for 6 months, 7 months.
6 months.
Yeah, literally. So for 6 months you were just playing the game for no rank. You were just playing just
to play, right?
Literally just to play with no imaginary badge next to your thing that's like, oh shit, that guy has that, like he's serious business, you know what I'm saying?
I'm thinking to myself that actually doesn't sound like a bad idea, right? Because you give, like, those people that buy day one and play solid 6 months, and there's those people who pick it up, like, maybe 3 months in or 2 months in and decide they want to play, right? If you have like if you day one you say, look, in 6 months we're going to start rankings. But that in the first 6 months is basically just open field. Everybody learns the game, and when the switch flicks on the 6th month, right? Everybody at that point's got some. They're all it's all baseline, right? Everybody's got some skill build up. Everybody's kind of, I don't know. I see it kind of both ways.
Yeah, but you have to keep in mind this is at the time that we're talking about this. That was on the annual cycle, so 6 months is half the lifespan of the game.
That's a good point. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're already exhausted majority of your
by the time you get there.
Majority of your audience, and we're what month are we in? July, so we're
7.
3 months.
3 months out from COD, and it's completely dead. So for 3 months, that all that hype's already dead.
Yeah,
so
no,
we've
I
only
got
got,
you.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there is a point to that. I feel like what they should have done.
But it's no longer a year cycle for any game.
Now it's
be.
It can't be nowadays because it has to be 2 years, and they have to stay active. I feel like that was the biggest problem with Halo. We talked about Halo. Think about how good of a game Halo could have been. The what is it called? Infinite? Infinite was the new one. Do you know by chance?
I think so.
Infinite.
So there was a huge market for gaming on Infinite. Esports teams loved it. Everybody loved that game. But they just dropped the ball by not putting out any new content. Didn't try to
That's
add
such a
new
hard
maps.
thing, though, because even the timing on content is important. Because I'm thinking about Dying Light, right? And obviously I got Dying Light and I ripped through it and did the entire thing, played it for whatever it was, and I actually even paid for the edition with all the DLCs and stuff like that. And it's funny, after I kind of did it, ripped through it, and then moved on to another game, the DLC comes out, and I have no draw to really go back.
Yeah.
I just, it's lacking. And it's not that I didn't enjoy the game, right? I loved it. But when the DLC came out, and I'm kind of in the Elden Ring now, and I'm like, you know what? I don't fucking want to go back.
Exactly. You have to time it almost perfectly because
You do. You really do.
Because think about it, a lot of games nowadays, like Mel, how big is Call of Duty and Warzone? Like how many gigabytes is those games together? Like the MW19 one.
Together, I would say it's probably over 100 gigs.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So you have to now think, all right, if I want to keep playing this game, I'm gonna have to get rid of some of the other games. So you might have deleted Dying Light, right, or whatever you said.
Yep.
And then you have to kind of have that internal battle with yourself. They just came out with new DLC,
Well,
but
all that shit's saved in the
right. But I'm just saying, like, do I really want to re-download it to force me to uninstall something else? You know what I'm saying? Because you have to have that kind of internal battle.
I don't think that's an issue. Shit,
You don't have that problem? I do.
Fuck, I mean, you can buy a goddamn 2 gig drive for $80
right,
and
well,
slap it on there, right? And that, I mean, there's no lack of storage. That's a joke, right?
No, that's definitely not a joke, bro. I know a lot of my friends, they've had to delete stuff to play other
Well, that's
games.
crazy. I mean, honestly,
You know what I'm talking about,
like
Mel,
a 12
right?
terabyte drive for like $300.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
You can't play that many games. You can't. I mean, at some point you're like, I can't physically play this many games, right?
Yeah, I see your argument, but there's a lot of people that take that sacrifice.
And your stats in that game are all saved, even if you delete the game, right? So, like, if I deleted Dying Light and then reinstalled it, 3 days later,
you could still be able to play it.
Would be saved. So it's, I don't know.
You guys remember the early days of gaming where
so early days.
All right, for me,
your early days, yeah, my early days.
All
So
right,
my fucking Space Invaders with a quarter.
All right, so my early days of gaming was like my first game that I remember playing was not on console or anything, but my first earliest memory was Mortal Kombat, where you plugged it the you know what I'm talking about, like the red and white and red, or what was it, red, yellow, and white ports into the television.
Yeah,
and you can play with
RGB.
And the joysticks or whatever. And that was like my first. Like, what's your guys' first earliest memory of, I guess, game? Like, what was your first game that you guys ever played? Do you have any fond memories of it as well?
Oh, I don't. Jesus Christ! I mean,
you don't remember your first game?
Well, I mean, the very first system I would have gotten would have been the original Atari system. So
Atari, we had one of those.
Yeah, I'm talking about the original one. So
it was my mom's.
I mean, it was Space Invaders and Missile Command and all the shit that
Yeah. Okay.
Have they're still around in various flavors, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've been playing games way too long.
Go to the arcade, show up at, and play like ping pong.
Well, I mean, that's how it was done back then. If you wanted to play like the really, cutting edge shit, you went into the arcade and dropped quarters into it.
Cutting edge, he said. This is like advanced technology. The arcade's ahead of its time.
They were cutting edge, man. If you wanted to get the latest and greatest game, you had to go into a freaking arcade and put quarters into the machine. That's how it happened back then.
What about you, Mel?
Earliest memory of gaming I have is probably on the PlayStation 1, or regular PlayStation, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like a Tony Hawk Pro Skate.
Oh, those games were fire.
Yeah. And that was the first gaming memory that I have, or like a Ricky Carmichael motorcycle game.
Did your parents buy that for you?
Yeah.
They're just like, you gotta get him hooked.
We had a PlayStation, the original PlayStation, and then we had a Sega that had Sonic on it, and those are probably my earliest memories of games.
No, damn, that's crazy.
Sonic the Hedgehog was crazy. I love that game.
Sonic the Hedgehog was fire. And then I remember getting did you guys ever own the PSP, the PlayStation Portable one?
Yeah.
No.
I had a PSP, dude, and you could get like Ratchet and Clank for that junk, bro. I played that thing all day. Literally all day, every day. I loved that game so much. But yeah, those were good times, bro. And I guess I know we talked about this. I'll ask you, Mel, because now it just came to the top of my head for some reason, bro. Like me and Joe talked about like how gaming kind of this is kind of like one of the final things I have to say, is like kind of accelerates your, like, what do we say? Kind of like makes you develop faster, or makes you grow up faster because
reaction time.
Well, not reaction time, but like it makes you like.
Okay.
Well, that for sure.
Well, definitely reaction time because you're kind of like testing that, but like you're getting put into lobbies with like anyone. Like I remember being like I don't know, what was 2007, 7 years old, 8 years old, playing Call of Duty 4, and you're playing with like 30-something-year-old guys at the time. Fuck this, fuck that, everything like that. And I'm like, bro, I'm like 7.
So you're talking, you're
so like you know, like did you like, because for me, I remember that kind of like accelerated my thinking on things. And did you ever have an experience with that? I know we talked about it. Talked about that like a couple podcasts ago.
I mean, that's more of a recent thing, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because back then you weren't like you were playing online with other people, but you didn't have a Discord channel or TeamSpeak or whatever the hell it was.
Game chat or something like that.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of that. There was, but I mean, not a ton of it.
Not a ton of it. How about you, Mel? Do you remember any?
And I'm not sure it helps your maturity level. It could.
Not maturity.
It's one of those things where it's a double-edged sword. I mean, I mean, look, I've
exposure.
I've seen some of those.
I guess you
I'm
could
like,
say.
holy shit! They're all freaking 4-year-olds.
I guess you could say exposure. I guess, right? You know what I mean?
That for sure. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, you're an 8-year-old that's getting exposed to language that back in the day you wouldn't get exposed to until you're.
Bro, I remember being like, whenever MW2 came out, it was like,
what's the C word?
No,
what's
yeah,
this
right.
P word?
No, bro, I remember being on MW2 and we were playing, and the meta at the time was the dual wield 1887 shotties, bro. But people used to get pissed, right? And I remember this guy told me, like, he's like, I hope your mother gets cancer or something like that. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. Because I'm using this in a game, you want my family to die?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't know. I feel like that shit, like, it's inevitable right now in today's day and age. Like, you can't censor everything, right? So, I don't know. That was just a fun little story, I guess. But
yeah, there's no filter when it comes to this. Yeah,
just to the brutalness of the internet, man.
The rage takes over everyone at one point. Like,
yeah,
you'll say something rash and you don't mean it at all.
No, bro.
And then it hurts someone's feelings.
Or like in the Discord with some of the homies, bro, it got a little bit too carried away. You know who I'm talking about too. Like, next thing you know, someone's saying, you know, I'm gonna F your fiance or something like that.
No way.
Oh
shit!
It happened to me, Bob.
Jesus Christ!
Yo, it gets wicked, bro. It gets wicked in there. And then you're like, after you say,
we didn't play a game with him.
Yeah, it's fucked up. And now he doesn't have an invite to the wedding.
No, he never did. So.
That's a little.
Did you ever do anything out of fit of rage? Like, what was out of the game? I guess you could say, like.
Well, shit! I almost threw the freaking controller through the television a couple times playing Elden Ring.
Have you ever
just
done
recently? I mean, no.
Okay.
I mean, but I was super close because I mean, obviously, we talked about this, right? I didn't know anything about the Dark Souls games going into this, so I'm fucking dying every 30 seconds. I'm like, this game fucking sucks, right? What's the deal here, right? And I literally early on was ready to throw the freaking controller through it. I was really pissed. Like, I'm up here effing this
and the worst move
effing that because I'm like, this is just not right.
And the worst is when you get off the game and then you go into real life. Like, you go downstairs and you're like, fuck, that pissed me off. And then you're like, your significant other's like, are you okay? Is everything all right? And you're like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just going through something right now. Yeah. Has anything happened to you where you've had to get physical on any of your like setup or anything like that?
when I was younger, like middle school, high school, I would slam my controllers.
Oh, Jordan told me about this. He told me that you used to break his controller sometimes.
I broke everything, bro. Hold on. I know we're on FaceTime, but like I would take the controller and just beat it like on the ground like this, like hammer it down.
Damn.
And I can't tell you how many controllers I've broke, bro. But I'll stop that. I'll throw it down and I'll sit in my anger for a second, and then Taylor will walk in and be like, "Are you good?" I'm like, "You just need to give me a minute."
Yeah, you can't do that shit anymore. Not with the controllers today, man. Back then it was like, it's a $10 controller. Now it's shit.
Yeah, I mean, dude, bro, my Scuff controller breaks from just using it. Imagine fucking smacking on a desk, bro. It would probably be in 1,000 pieces. So. But yeah, I mean, I think we kind of talked about all the gaming stuff. I don't have any kind of final thoughts. I kind of have to get out of here soon, so that's why I want to wrap it up. I mean, I'm glad that we got you on here finally.
Yeah.
And we definitely, I would like to maybe revisit this conversation in a couple months. I know we didn't really scratch the surface on too many conversations. Like, we've had to talk about, like, gaming and violence and everything like that. And we don't have to talk about it now, but I definitely want to revisit this conversation, maybe get Jordan or someone on here or someone else from the Discord to kind of talk more about some topics like that. But I appreciate you coming on here, bro, for real. We both do.
I appreciate the invite, boys.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. So this was episode 32. Do you have any final words before we head out, either of you?
Nope, I'm good.
All right.
Good. Yeah.
All right, episode 32 in the bag.
All right, man. We'll throw it over to Marcus, and thanks all. Later.
See you.
Yeah. Let me drop exclusive game from my exclusive mind. You be out here chasing fame, I stay steady on my grind. 0 diamonds, 0 chains, from my brain is where I shine. Hit you with them good lyrics, I ain't writing and I'm dying. And right now I'm alive, so check it. I reckon I shouldn't cuss on this record. I don't cuss on them often because I'm applying pressure. Grab that fire grind. 0 diamonds, 0 chains, from my brain is where I shine. Hit you with them good lyrics, I ain't writing and I'm dying. And right now I'm alive, so check it. I reckon I shouldn't cuss on this record. I don't cuss on them often because I'm applying pressure. Grab that fire from my dresser. EXM, who does it better? No, I won't let up. Gas pedal fully pressed, I do the dash to the checks. If it ain't assets, I'm never stressed. I keep it calm and collect. Most of y'all stuck in some debt, and you got bad credit. I learned my lesson, I was young and foolish, now I'm better. I kept my head up through the stormiest weather. Wipe my eyes and focused on where I'm headed. We call that constant progression. If we in Vegas and the option is betting on me, you know we cashing out to the teller. Now let me switch my endeavor, change up my whole approach. Let's have a toast to those who do the most. Achieving goals on the road to their dreams, on the path to the cream, counting stacks with their team, living lavishly, but still actively aware that they can be a casualty, so they don't lack humility and they don't dabble with degree. Yes, they focused on the plan ahead. They know impact will lead to bread, and the bread equals success and less frets. Got some things to accomplish. When someone hits my line, it's not about some nonsense. We making moves, always grinding, we popping. You know we not gonna stop, and never no option but time, and the perfect time is right now. Not caught up in tomorrow. I'm all about making a conscious decision while I'm living. Make a choice, then I'm committed to that vision. I pivot if necessary. It's scary when you get caught in a position that isn't hitting you down bad because you're persistent in the wrong direction. Just learn your lesson, you gotta check it. Audit you and keep on getting better. That's the motive, that's the method. And I'm headed further than I ever thought I could make it. I wouldn't stop unless my pulse flat lines like the doctor lost his patience.